Hi, jolly readers and story lovers. Welcome back to Storytime with Malicha. I'm so excited to have you here. Are you ready for our stories about a tortoise, a town mouse, and a cheeky fox? It's called The Tortoise and the Hare and Other Stories. Do you have a copy? Go get it so we can read together.
It's story time!
Our first story is The Tortoise and the Hare. Once, there was a hare and a tortoise who were good friends even though they were very different. Tortoise was quiet and liked to do things slowly and carefully. Hare was the opposite. He did things quickly and boasted about how fast he was. "Let's have a race," said Tortoise, fed up of Hare's boasting. "A race?" cried Hare. "Between a tortoise and a hare?" "Yes," replied Tortoise. "Meet me on that hill tomorrow morning." The other animals gasped. "I can't wait," said Hare, smiling. The next morning, Hare and Tortoise met for the race. All their friends were there too. "Hare will definitely win," said Rabbit. "I agree," said Field Mouse. "Tortoise is so slow, he'll never keep up." Hare warmed up by doing some press-ups and touching his toes. Tortoise just stretched out his little legs one at a time and then joined Hare, who was waiting at the starting line. "Ready, steady, go," shouted Crow. Hare shot off down the track. Whoosh! Tortoise plodded off slowly and steadily, inching forward one step at a time. Soon, there was a huge gap between Tortoise and Hare. When Hare looked around, Tortoise was a long way behind him. "This is so easy," thought Hare. "I'm sure I will win this race." Soon, Hare saw a patch of delicious dandelions. "I'll stop and eat," said Hare. "I'm so far in front, Tortoise will never catch up." Hare ate and ate until he felt like he was going to burst. Moments later, he was fast asleep on the soft grass. Far behind, Tortoise was plodding along. By the afternoon, he reached Hare. "He must have stopped for a snack and fallen asleep," said Tortoise, chuckling. Without a fuss, Tortoise moved steadily along, getting closer and closer to the finish line. When Hare woke up, it was evening time. Tortoise was just a speck far ahead in the distance. Hare leapt to his feet and dashed after Tortoise. Flying overhead, Crow cheered him on. "Come on, Hare," he called. Hare ran faster than he had ever run in his life. He got closer and closer to Tortoise. "I am going to win," he thought. However, as they crossed the finish line, Tortoise won by the length of a nose. From that day on, Whenever he was tempted to boast, Hare remembered the day Tortoise had beaten him, and he never boasts again. Moral of the story is that slow and steady wins the race. Our second story is the town mouse and the country mouse. Once, there were two mice who were cousins. One lived in the town, the other lived in the country. One day, Country Mouse invited his cousin to visit his home. Town Mouse arrived the very next day. "You look very smart," said Country Mouse. "Thank you," said Town Mouse. After a short walk, Town Mouse's smart shoes were all dirty. "In the town, I have clean pavements to walk on," he said. "With boots like mine, you don't need cliff pavements," replied Country Mouse. At dinner, Town Mouse looked at his tiny plate of cheese and berries. He wrinkled his nose in dismay. "Do you always eat such simple food?" he said. "I don't need any fancier," replied Country Mouse. "You must come and visit me next time," said Town Mouse. "I'll show you what you're missing." Now it was Country Mouse's turn to visit his cousin in the town. Once there, he looked up at Town Mouse's home in amazement. "Your home is so very tall," said Country Mouse. "It is rather wonderful, isn't it?" said Town Mouse blandly. Inside the house, it was so warm that Country Mouse had to take off his scarf and thick socks. "This is a splendid house," he said. Then Town Mouse served enough food to feed 1,000 mice. There were sandwiches, cakes, and fruit, but no cheese. "What a magnificent feast, cousin," said Country Mouse. "Please try everything," said Town Mouse. "Have second helpings if you wish." Country Mouse had second, third, and fourth helpings. "I think I could get used to living in the town," he said, patting his stomach. Suddenly, a giant cat strolled into the room. "Aren't you going to invite me to join you?" she purred. The two mice almost jumped out of their skin with fright. Quick as a flash, they ran down the leg of the table and escaped under the door. "I miss my home," said Country Mouse. "I understand," said Town Mouse. They shook paws and waved goodbye to each other. When he was back home, Country Mouse breathed in the fresh air. "This is the life for me," he said. "Simple, quiet, and no cats." Moral of the story: better a little in safety than an abundance surrounded by danger. Our third story is The Fox and the Stork. The white stork was new to the pond. She had moved into a nest nearby and wanted to meet her neighbors. She was a very lovely, trusting bird, and they liked her straight away. "Welcome to our pond," said Heron and Flamingo. Listening in was Fox. He loved to play tricks. I could play a trick on Stork, he thought. With that, Fox came rustling out of the bushes. "Hello, Stork," he said. "Would you care to have dinner with me?" "That would be delightful," replied Stork. When Stork arrived at Fox's den, she was thrilled by what she saw. Fox had decorated the table with a candle, flowers, and 2 white bowls. "This is lovely," said Stork. She was feeling very flattered. At that moment, Fox brought out a pot of hot, steaming broth and placed it on the table. "Would you care for some soup?" he asked, whipping out a ladle. "Yes, please," said Stork. "It smells delicious." Stork leaned forward to drink this crummy soup. Clack! The bowl was too shallow for her beak. "Having trouble?" asked Fox with a twinkle in his eyes. "I can't drink from this bowl," said Stork, embarrassed. "Then I shall have to drink yours too," said Fox, grinning. Back at her nest, Stork realized Fox had played a trick on her. "I shall have to teach him a lesson," she thought. So the next time she saw Fox, she invited him round for dinner. "I'd be delighted," said Fox, who mistakenly thought Stork had forgiven him. Fox arrived for dinner, and on the table were 2 tall jugs full of tasty soup. "My nose won't fit in there," said Fox. "Now you know how I felt," said Stork. "I'm sorry," said Fox. "I promise I won't trick you ever again. Always treat others as you wish to be treated yourself." Today's stories were funny, they were interesting, and they were exciting. And I hope you enjoyed listening as much as I enjoyed reading them. Until next time, it's bye-bye from Mama Licha.